Hello everybody, my name is Phoenix Fire. Welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Damask. Yes, on the last episode, we got to start Pokemon, we caught a bunch of interesting peeps, and then we fought the first gym as well, and that went okay. But yeah, as you can see now, both my starter Pokemon and Luna have a black star on them, and that's what's going to happen if they faint during a battle. And if they get 3 black stars, then they are out. I release them and that's it. And also, in between episodes, you'll see that our egg actually hatched into a Cheero with a named Poppy. So then we're off to our next destination, which is Route 3. And on Route 3, we're going to get our next encounter here, which is a Eagle, who then I proceed to catch. And of course it's a normal and flying type, which are named Smokey. So then once we've done that, we make our way to the next city and we've cut our tree cutters. So that means that we can now cut down those pesky trees, as well as fight some trainers and see some cool looking Pokemon along the way. And then a few minutes later we come to the entrance of this cool looking cave. So then we nip inside and we're in Ornan Cave, and then we come across this guy called Loki who wants to battle us, so okay. So then Loki's first Pokemon is an Odin Nymph, which I'm going to guess is part bug type, so out comes Pyro, who swiftly uses the Ember on it, which is a one shot, which is super cool. And then Loki proceeds to send out his Brockenstein, which by looking at it I think is a ghost type. But because I don't know, I'm just going to go for another Ember, which does hardly anything to it, and it proceeds to bite me, which does quite a bit of health to Pyro. But Pyro recovers a bit due to leftovers, so yeah, I decide to swiftly swap out to Luna, who is a fairy type. But then of course it goes for a bite, which hardly does anything to Luna, so Luna swiftly goes for a Fairy Wind. Oh, and the Brockenstein is faster, so it goes for a Tearful Look, which proceeds to lower Luna's attack and special attack. So yeah, it goes for Fairy Wind, just to see how much it does after a special attack's been lowered. And that hardly does anything either, but I proceed with Fairy Wind. Oh, have to use his bite. And yeah, this goes back and forth for a couple of minutes. And at this point I'm just chipping down the Brockenstein's health. But then I decide to swap out again into oh so reliable Azure, who then takes a bite who he comes in, but that takes him down just above half health, so then I decide to use Peck after another bite, which takes Azure down to 7 health. Just to heal up a little bit of health to see if we can survive another attack from Brockenstein, and then we can see if Azure could take him down. Now yes, I decided to go for another bite here to kind of sacrifice Azure's star count and I decide to send in Pyro again, because then luckily he's faster than the Brockenstein, so he goes for another Ember, which then takes the Brockenstein down. And then Loki's last Pokemon is an Eagle, so then of course I decide to go for another Ember with Pyro, which chips off a quarter of the damage, but Eagle's attack misses and Pyro heals up a little bit using his leftovers. So then of course we proceed to go for another Ember. Also, I must say this music is awesome, by the way. And the Ember takes him down into the yellow. The Eagle uses yellow to lower Pyro's defense, but luckily though it didn't attack, so Pyro can heal up a little bit more with leftovers. And now we're going to go with Scratch, see how much that does. Then he responds with an Air Cutter, taking Pyro down into the yellow. But again, Pyro has the leftovers, going for another Scratch, and then Eagle is down. And that's all 3 of his Pokemon down. So Loki runs off. We get our next encounter, which is a Gloomance, who then proceeds to catch in a Great Ball, who turns out to be a Poison and Electric type, which is really cool and is going to come in handy. So then I swiftly proceed to name him Flux. Now after finding some cool encounters in the cave, battling some trainers, finding some more really cool encounters in the cave, and Pyro evolving into a Torchic. It's fine, buddy. You could be worse. We make our way through the rest of the deep and dark cave. Find some more really cool encounters. We finally make our way out of the cave and into Postport Village. where we get given a fishing rod and find the daycare. We then proceed to take out Haru, but in place for Haru, I think I'm going to pick up little Flux that we got earlier. And then outside of town we meet a Priscilla who wants us for another battle, of course. So yep, let's go. And her first peep is in movie, and of course I forget the Flux is out first, so I immediately swap back out to Pyro, who then gets hit by a water gun. To luckily not take that much damage, but luckily again Pyro does have the leftovers, so he heals a little bit. So then I swiftly try and go for an Ember, just to see how much that does to it, and that does hardly anything to it. Not really surprising, because it might be watertight. So then she proceeds to use water gun again on Pyro. Yep, which doesn't really do that much, just taking him down to half. But luckily though he can heal thanks to the leftovers. So now I'll try and go for another Ember, just to chip it down a bit, and then I might swap out. And again that hardly does anything, but it drops it down to just over half health. Oh! And now it goes for an Icy Wind on Pyro, which doesn't do anything, but again drops Pyro just below, just above half health. And Pyro's speed fell as well. So yeah, instead of swapping out, I decided to go for another Ember, because it seems to be doing about a fourth of its health every time. So yeah, yep, drops it down into the yellow just about. And the Boomy goes for another water gun, dropping Pyro into the yellow this time. But yet, thanks to the leftovers, Pyro does heal a little bit, so we can take another hit. And again, another Ember, and same again, hardly does anything, but Pyro seems to be holding steady. And instead of using an attacking move that might crit and knock out Pyro, it decides to go for a tail whip that lowers Pyro's defense. But then I just proceed to scratch and knock out the Boomy. I just tend to send out Azure, and her next one is a Nunette. And I decided to go for Peck, but Nunette's faster and goes for Confusion on Azure. Oof. And that doesn't really do much. So yeah, she uses Peck, that takes out about a quarter of his health. She goes in for another Confusion, I go in for another Peck. And yeah, we pretty much go back and forth. But this time she uses Fairy Wind, taking Ashu down into the yellow. But I use another Peck, taking it all the way nearly down to the red. So yeah, I decided to do the sensible thing and swap into Luna, and then Nanette decides to go for Fairy Wind against Luna, which does hardly anything, and of course I decide to use Fairy Wind right back at her because she's on red health, just after Nanette decides to go for Fairy Wind on Luna. Yeah, and that takes the Nanette down, and now it's time to her last peep, who is of course the starter for Lorna. Now we do proceed to go for a Fairy Wind, but for Lorna does Magical Leaf first, which of course is a critical hit on Luna, and unfortunately takes Luna down. The newly evolved Pyro. So then of course we proceed to use Ember on Forlorna. We then proceed to absolutely destroy her and one-shot her. Yep, that's Priscilla's last Pokemon down. Unfortunately though we did have one casualty of Luna, but yep, she's got one more life left, so yeah. So then with Priscilla beaten, I go to the next area and then we find our new encounter. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave this episode here, guys and girls. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to leave a like, comment, and if you're new, even subscribe, that'd be awesome. And don't forget to check out my Patreon as well to help out me and Cryo Phoenix. But for now, have a good one. Bye bye.